Hello and welcome. If you've just been diagnosed with diabetes, or maybe you're here for someone you love, I really want this to be a starting point for you, a place to get some clarity and hopefully a little bit of confidence for the road ahead. Hearing the word diabetes for the first time, it brings up a lot. All these new words, new routines to think about, a ton of new worries. It is completely 100% normal to feel confused, maybe even a little scared, and yeah, definitely overwhelmed. So let's just take a deep breath together.
Okay, the very first thing you need to know is that you are not on this journey by yourself. Not even close. Millions and millions of people are out there living full, vibrant, happy lives with diabetes. And with the right foundation of knowledge, which we're going to build together right now, you absolutely can too. You've got this.
All right, let's get into it. You can't really manage something until you understand it, right? So let's break down the simple story of what's actually happening inside your body. And I promise, we're going to keep the complicated medical jargon out of it. So first up, let's talk about something called glucose. The easiest way to think about it is like this. Your body is a car, and a car needs fuel to go anywhere. Well, your body's main source of fuel is a kind of sugar called glucose. It comes from the food we eat, and it powers literally everything we do, from walking around, to thinking, to just being alive. So we've got all this fuel, this glucose, in our bloodstream. But how does it get into our body's cells where it's actually needed for energy? Well, that's where insulin comes in. Insulin is a hormone, and it acts just like a key. Its job is to unlock the doors to your cells so that glucose can get inside and do its job. And that key and lock idea is really the perfect way to understand the two main types of diabetes. With type 1, your body's immune system gets confused and it attacks the very cells that make insulin. So basically, your body just stops making the key. But with type 2, your body is still making the key, but the locks on the cells get kind of sticky and resistant, which makes it really hard for that insulin key to open the door.
So if we look at them side by side, you can see the main differences pretty clearly. Type 1 is an autoimmune thing. It's a lot less common and treatment always requires taking insulin. Type 2 is way more common. We're talking over 90% of all cases. And management usually starts with lifestyle changes and maybe some oral medications. The main thing to get is that they have different causes, so they need different approaches.
But here's what I really want you to hear. This is the most important part. Even though their causes are different, the goal is exactly the same. It doesn't matter which type it is. With the right plan, the right support, and the right knowledge, both are completely and absolutely manageable.
When you're just starting out, you're going to hear about so many different numbers. A1C, fasting glucose, post-meal numbers. It can honestly feel like a lot of noise. So let's cut through all of that and focus on the one number that gives you the most power in your day-to-day life.
So what is that number? Out of everything you could track, what's the one metric that really tells you how you're doing right now, today, and gives you the clearest, most useful picture of your overall control?
The answer and your very first goal is 70%. But 70% of what?
That 70% is something called your time in range, or TIR for short. It's simply the percentage of your day that your blood sugar stays inside that healthy target zone. See, instead of just a random snapshot from a finger prick, TIR tells you how stable you are over time. It is honestly the most powerful tool we have for predicting long-term health because stability is everything.
Now, aiming for over 70% is the goal for excellent control. But please do not feel bad if you're not there yet. That's not the point. Even tiny improvements like going from 50% to 55% make a massive difference for your long-term health. It's all about progress, not perfection.
Okay, so how do you actually improve that time in range? This is where you get to take back control. Let's talk about the three main levers that you can pull every single day to directly influence where your glucose levels go.
These are your big three: food, exercise, and sleep. What you eat, especially carbs, is going to have the biggest and fastest impact. How you move your body, exercise, helps your cells use insulin way more effectively. And this last one, this surprises a lot of people. How well you sleep tonight has a major impact on your blood sugar tomorrow. And of course, other things are part of the big picture. Feeling stressed out, being sick, or even taking certain medications can all affect your numbers. But by really focusing on those big three, food, exercise, and sleep, you gain a huge amount of control over your own health.
Okay, we've talked about what diabetes is, we've set our number one goal, and we know the three levers we can pull. So, what do you do next? What are the actual first steps you can take, starting today?
Here's a simple checklist. Nothing overwhelming. First and foremost,
talk to your healthcare team. They're your partners in this. Next, get the tools to measure your glucose. And then, find a community so you remember you're not alone. But the most important thing on this list? Just start noticing things. Become a detective for your own body.
Seriously, this is the most critical first step. What happens to your glucose an hour after you eat oatmeal? What does a quick 15-minute walk do for you after dinner? How does a rough night of sleep show up in your morning numbers? Just noticing these little cause and effect patterns, that is your new superpower.
Now, trying to connect all those dots yourself, food, sleep, exercise, glucose, it can feel like a full-time job. And this is where modern tools can be a huge help. AI-powered platforms like Gheware are designed to do that heavy lifting for you. They can automatically find those hidden connections and patterns you might otherwise miss.
If that sounds like something that could help, you can check it out for free. Just head over to health.gheware.com to get started and see what kind of insights it could find for you, no strings attached.
I just want to leave you with this one last powerful reminder. This is not a life sentence. It is a manageable condition. I know it can feel incredibly complex right now, but I promise you, as you start to learn the unique patterns of your own body, it all gets clearer, and it really does get easier.
And of course, I have to say this. This content is for educational purposes only. Please always work closely with your own doctor or qualified healthcare provider before you make any changes to your personal health plan. So I'll leave you with a question to chew on. What's the very first pattern you're curious to understand? Is it about your favorite breakfasts, or maybe what that evening walk really does for you? Just pick one thing, start there. Your journey to empowerment begins with that very first piece of knowledge. Thanks so much for your time.